So, dude on Facebook told me about this, and I just wanted to share this here. I got an 03 Grand Am, and my fuel pump went out. And of course, I did exactly what the guy said. I cut the hole in the floorboard here, as you can see, which access to me to the fuel pump. Now, this is the new fuel pump. I've already done the job. The hole in the top is nice to access it, but if you see over here, right over here on the side, you got these lines going down. Well, with the tank being tight, I couldn't pull the lines out, so I ended up having to break these two lines off. This clip here comes off pretty easy, but I had to break these two off at the fuel pump to get the fuel pump out, which I didn't care. It was the old one. Got to replace it anyway. So anyway, what you end up having to do is, there's a clip down here, right up in here somewhere, on top of the fuel tank, that holds all these lines and all the electric lines and stuff going in. So you have to loosen the clamps for the fuel tank to let it down far enough to be able to get these lines off of the clamps to be able to get the lines out. So yeah, I mean, I only got maybe about 5 gallons of gas in this fuel tank. So, I mean, it would have probably been just as easy just to go ahead to drop the tank out and done it that way without having to cut the hole in the floorboard. So anyway, I just wanted to share some information with you. Also, if your car's not starting and you think it's the fuel pump, the only thing you have to do is get over here on the passenger side. And you can do this with the car on the ground. You don't have to have it jacked up. But you can get up underneath it here and just beat on the tank a couple times. There's that pump is round in there, and what's happened is after years, this thing's got worn out a little bit on one side, and the pump, or that round, whatever the pump gets out of square with the bearing or whatever that's in there, and it'll cause it to stop. So if you hit on the tank a few times, it'll actually get it to go back in place or knock it enough to where the pump will start running again. So if you're stranded like out on the road or whatever, you can hit that tank a few times. And I know this because the other day I was coming home from work, and I live 50 miles away from my shop. And by doing this, I ended up beating on the tank 3 times. It would act like the car was running out of gas. I'd pull over to the side of the road in the emergency lane on the highway, go up underneath the passenger side at the back wheel, beat on the tank a couple times, get back in, and start back up. I'd be able to drive maybe 10, 15 miles, and then it went out again, so I had to pull over. But I ended up having to beat on that tank 3 times to be able to get this car home so I could change the fuel pump here. So, it's just a little FYI for you. If you do get caught out with the fuel pump going out, you can get it get it going without having to call a tow truck. That's it. If you got any comments or questions, leave them down there in the bottom. Thanks.